Slick talker since a jet. Wintertime, all the time, ooh, yeah. Look at the way that I move, swag. Disrespectful and I'm rude, okay. I had cocaine in the school. Winter one hell of a kid. I am smoking gas, jugging mid. I'm lit. What you doing? I done did. I swear. Slick talker since a jet. Finesse. I know that this what they want. Facts. Run up some money, I'm gone. I'm the truth like Ron.
Hey guys, DX What Ifs here. Sorry I've been gone so long, dealing with my own personal problems. But anyway, I would like to welcome you to a new What If. This What If is called What If Bell had solo leveling, or Danmachi x Naruto solo. But without anything else being said, let's get into this. Sorry, I'm a little tired, I'm doing this at 2 in the morning. But anyway, we're gonna start this What If with Bell. He's walking around town trying to find a familiar, but no one wants him. He's only level 1 with nothing but some beat up armor and a dull dagger. You could say that this is the worst shape he has ever been in. He's on the brink of giving up. He keeps walking until he hears, "Hey kid, I see you got a little pack of crystals there. Why don't you hand them over and I'll let you leave with your life." Bell starts to shake. He pulls out his dagger, trying to hide the fact that he's scared. He trembles in fear, hoping he can make it through this. There's 3 adventurers, and they look fairly strong. He starts to think of what he should do until a sudden fist connects with his face. He slams into a wall and falls. He drops to his knees, clutching his face. Then the adventurer proceeds to pick him up by the throat and starts to throw extreme blows to the stomach. Bell is spitting out blood in immense pain, but he's holding on to consciousness with everything he has. But at that moment, the worst happened to him. One of them pulled out their knife and stabbed him 2 times in the chest and once in the stomach. He screams a blood-curdling scream, but he was quickly silenced by one of the men holding his mouth and nose. He's suffocating but has no strength to struggle. He thinks, this is really how it ends, huh? Nothing ever goes right for me. Not even my own death. His life starts to fade as his vision darkens. After a few minutes, he thinks, wait, no, I can't go out like this. Someone, anyone, help me, please. I don't want to die. Not now. Suddenly, a blue box with wording pops up in the darkness of the void. It reads, "You have met all requirements to complete the secret skill, Courage of the Weak. To complete the secret quest, Courage of the Weak. What is? You are now eligible to become a player. Decline and your heartbeat will stop in 5 seconds." Quick pause, completely fanfic, completely fan-made, I had a lot of my little twists into it, But anyway, without hesitation, he says, I accept. You are now a player. Welcome. And shortly after, the darkness gets quiet and his consciousness fades. 5 hours later, it's dawn now. He gains consciousness and begins to sit up in the bed he's laying in. He realizes he has nothing but his pants on, and he's covered in bandages. Suddenly, he hears a female voice call to him. You finally woke. What's your name? Bell. Kind of a stupid name, don't you think? Let's change it. How about Dog? Bell gives no reaction. This is Hestia, by the way. She's gonna be mean in this one. Well, not completely mean. She's being mean for a reason, but you'll find out soon. Anyway, Bell gives no reaction. He just sits there. He just sits there with his head down, thinking of how weak he is. He is reminiscing in his head about how he hates getting trampled over like he is now. He even replays the time he got saved by the famous eyes. The Minotaur somehow made it up to the first floor, and he was running from it. He was cornered, but Eyes swooped in and cut the thing in half. Blood spilled all over him, and he had to walk through town in shame. Now, Hestia continues. Anyways, dog, now that we have your new name in its rightful place, meet your higher up. Oh, Tyson, come in here. Meet your new true toy. And suddenly, a guy with black hair and a well-toned figure walks into the room. He says, "Sup, kid? My name's Tyson and I'm a level 7. As of today, you take order from me or Hestia. Is that clear, fresh meat?" Bell gives no response. Tyson continues. "Good. Now that we are clear on where we stand, go get me a brew. It's in the fridge. Hurry up." After he says this, he walks over to Hestia and sits beside her. He grabs her chin as they look at each other, filled with lust. They then start to make out right on the couch, but Bell doesn't seem to mind it. In fact, he's so lost, he doesn't seem to mind anything. He gets up and proceeds to do as told. He walks over to see that it's a nice place. He could tell it was a church once before, but they had it renovated. He walks into the kitchen and opens the fridge. He gets a brew, closes it. He walks around the counter until a blue box appears in front of him. He stops and takes a look with a rather serious look. It reads, "Daily quest. Getting ready to become powerful. Goal. Incomplete push-ups, 0 out of 100. Incomplete sit-ups, 0 out of 100. Incomplete curl-ups, 2 times. Times 2, 0 out of 200. Incomplete squats, 0 out of 100. Incomplete running, 0 out of 10 kilometers. Failed to complete, there will be a penalty. Failed to complete and there will be a penalty. You have 24 hours to complete. Reward times 2, 10 levels, 10,000 coins, rare weapon box. Key grade level C." He looks at this and believes that this is what brought him back to life. He decides to obey the system. He walks back to the room to hear provocative noises. He places the beer by the door and decides to look around. It's a pretty small but big home. He stumbles upon a door with a paper that says "dog" on it. He thinks, must be my room. He opens the door to see nothing but a bed and his tattered armor top. He thinks about the quest box and it opens. He looks over the quest and exits the box. He then gets straight to work. 5 hours later, he's on the floor in a push-up position in a pool of sweat. In the middle of a pool of sweat. He decided to finish push-ups last, and he's on his last one. He struggles but manages the final push. He flops onto the floor and turns around. He looks up at the ceiling to see a blue box appear that says, "Quest completed. Reward times 2, 10 levels, 10,000 coins, rare weapon box, key grade level C." He gives no reaction, but he feels improvement from the levels. He now knows this isn't a dream. He gets up and suddenly a box appears that has all his rewards. He thinks, this must be an inventory of some sort. He begins to look at his stats to see they are all at 10. He says, "Interesting perk." He sees that there are 50 unused stat points. He proceeds to add 10 to each stat. They read, strength 20, agility 20, senses 20, vitals 20, intelligence 20. He feels the improvements already. His body starts to swell to the point it's well toned. His senses are heightened, and he feels light. He smirks at this and looks up as if he's looking up into the sky. He whispers, "Whoever made this possible, thank you." After, he proceeds to sit on the bed and opens his inventory. He looks to see the key and the rare box. He looks to see the key and the rare box item. He opens the box first since he doesn't know what the key is for. He taps on the box and suddenly blue light appears shining over his head. A few seconds go by and the light forms into a blue cube. He catches it and stares. He then gets the idea to tap it. He taps it and the cube starts to form into a dagger. It has the information on the pop-up box next to the blade. And it reads, Grade B, Dragon's Fang, skill consume. The toxic darkness from the blade forged from a dragon's middle tooth consumes you from the inside. Toxic darkness, basically. Oh yeah, I already said that. Sorry, I'm very tired. Anyway, won't have effect on level 10 or higher. Level 10, huh? Sorry, Bell says. Level 10, huh? Looks like no one will be a match for this blade. He places it back inside the inventory and exits. He then hears, "Dog, where are you?" He gets up with no reaction and proceeds to the room. He gets there and opens the door. It smells like fish and chips. Sorry, I said I didn't write that. Anyway, Hestia says, "What took you so long?" She suddenly realizes that Belle looks different. She has no words to describe Belle right now. He's suddenly more ripped and good looking. She quickly turns to Tyson with a shocked look. He has the same expression. They look back at Belle and he says, "What is it?" They're taken aback by this because he didn't show this type of energy before and his demeanor feels colder. She says, I was gonna tell you to go to the dungeon alone and get crystals. Oh, and I checked your level and you're pathetic, so try not to die, you good for nothing dog." Whatever. Tyson then gets infuriated and says, "Hey, who do you think you are, scum? We saved your weak ass from dying, so show some respect or I'll kill you." Belle turns around and shrugs. Tyson gets furious. He doesn't know who this bastard thinks he is over his son. Just because he got a little bigger, he's probably taking steroids or something. He walks over to him and grabs his shoulder, but out of nowhere, a black spark of lightning shocks his hand. He turns towards him with a death glare and says, "Trust me, you don't want this." And without anything else being said, he walks off. Sorry guys, I'm so tired. Hold on, matter of fact, 1 second. Sorry about that. Let's get back into this. And without anything else being said, he walks off. Tyson doesn't know what the hell just happened. Him and Hestia are at a loss for words. He was just so weak, but now he's like a whole new person in just a couple of minutes. Tyson grits his teeth, but Hestia comes from behind him. It comes from behind him and hugs him. She says, "Don't worry, that dog has nothing on you." "You're right, but that was weird. He was nothing like before." "It doesn't matter. No one can get stronger in just a few minutes, so stop worrying. You'll always be on top because you're my number one. Now get on the bed and let's update your status." Tyson nods and with a pleasant smile and does as told. To Belle. Belle is walking down the street with a cold look. When he got beat up by those adventurers, he gained a hatred for them and his world. Not just then, before as well. He always got beat, but his drive kept him going until they pushed him off the edge. He closed off all emotions from outsiders. Now they created a monster. Better yet, force of life and death. He keeps walking, but he's getting stares from people because he was known as the worst one. Everyone knew he was a failure. They would even get a laugh out of his skill in the dungeon. What made it worse is that he never made it past the first floor. But they look at him now and feel They look at him now and feel a little fear. He's different, that's for sure. He stumbles upon a closed shop and enters. He walks up to the counter, but the lady was doing something. A few seconds go by. She turns around and says, "Hey, welcome to..." She suddenly starts to blush. "How may I help you, sir?" I'm looking for all black clothing." Okay, they're over there." Belle nods and walks off. The lady's eyes were glued onto the young man. He looked so good she couldn't help but stare. A few minutes of looking, he finds what he's looking for and goes into a changing room. He puts on the clothes and walks out. The lady was even more attractive now because of his style. He walks over and says, "I don't have any valets, so I'll pay after I go to the dungeon." Okay, that's fine, I guess. Please come back soon." He then turns to leave. He walks out and makes his way to the dungeon. Now, let's test my skill. He summons his dagger and starts to eliminate all goblins on the first floor at a high speed, slashing at everyone, cutting heads clean off. He notices he's gaining experience from this as well, so he keeps going to floor 5, to floor 7, and finally to floor 10. He enters to see a team struggling against a 10th floor boss. The only one standing is a blonde girl in blue attire. To Belle, that Minotaur floor boss is nothing. Alright. Progress. Level 41. Job. None. Fatigue. 2. HP. 7,000. MP. 4,000. If anybody feel like I'm dragging his experience gaining, look, I told you from probably my first video, I'm not making any of my characters booty. They will all be powerful. I don't care. All of them. Any anime topic I do, all of them. Okay? Anyway. Skills. Shadow projectiles. Level 3. Shadow enhancement. Cloak 2. Dead eyes. Max. Shadow possession. Level 2. Deep touch. Level 1. Locked. Level 50. Force push. Locked. Level 52. Shadow rotation. Locked. Level 60. Rage. Level up and do special quests to gain more abilities. Stats: Strength 57, Agility 60, Senses 59, Vitals 50, Intelligence 60. Power limiter 5% active. Remaining points 1. 9 levels from requiring a job. To acquire a job, you must pass 5 in-game dungeons. Now, after Belle sees their struggle, he wastes no time. Switching POV. Beta. I think that wolf dude. I think it's beat or beta. I don't know. Anyway. "You have to run, Ice. No, I will never back down from a battle." But suddenly, 3 dark and misty projectiles hit the Minotaur's head. Then it makes a huge explosion on contact, killing it. But its whole body starts to bloat and bursts with black shadow aura exploding from it. They all look in shock with wide jaws. The big flame of darkness is rising violently. They can't move because they're all nervous and trembling. They wonder if it's a more powerful mob. A few moments pass, the aura then suddenly subsides. All the members of the low-key familia look around with haste until they see a black-haired man in all black walking towards them. That's the effect of him leveling up. He gets stronger. His appearance starts to change. Anyway, Belle says, "You all okay?" "You all okay?" Eyes. "Yeah, but how did you..." She then realizes it's supposedly the worst one. She says shockingly, "The worst one?" "That's me, I guess." He walks past it to retrieve his crystal. It was a huge one, an abnormal sized one. But he doesn't mind. It. He then opens his inventory and placed it in there. He exits his inventory and thinks, maybe I should head back. While he thinks, he receives looks of envy and awe. Sorry. They have no idea how the worst one did any of this. Tion says out of shock. How could the worst one defeat a rank 10 Minotaur? Bell decides to answer. Willpower got me where I'm at now. He then proceeds to walk back up to the exit dungeon. The dungeon until Tiona says, Hey, what's your name before you go, spooky worst one? Stop with the worst one, because I'm far from it now. Call me Grim Reaper. Suddenly, Beta decides to comment. Hey, watch your tone, Big Red Tomato. Do you have any idea what... And in a flash, he appears in front of Beta with his dagger to his neck. This shocks the whole group. That kind of speed is inhuman. Bell says, I don't want to hear it. I don't give a damn about who you are or your goddess. He looks down to see Loki's symbol and continues. Loki, I assume. Instantly, all of them get offended, and he senses the killer intent. He grabs Beta by the collar and turns him around with a swift movement. He then quickly places the blade back to his neck, but closer. He looks around to see them all ready to fight until something pops up. It's a warning. It reads, high amounts of killer intent is being sent towards you. If this meter fills, a quest will appear. The system is sensing their killer intent. The meter is slowly filling, and if it does, he knows he will have no choice but to kill them. That's what happens when your sentence is past 50. Bell warns. Stop the tension. Stop the tension or you'll die. I can't take it. He then activates his skill, Deadeyes, and sends high amounts of killer intent, pinning them to the ground. The bar then slowly depletes. He continues. Now listen. You all know I was always the worst one, taking everybody's crap and dealing with it. But now times have changed. I am a new person and you will treat me as such. Do you all understand? They all couldn't speak, they all couldn't even speak because the pressure was too high, too much. He deactivates his skill and they all collapse, all but one. But she says, Okay, Grim Reaper, sir. We're sorry we inconvenienced you. It was Eyes. Bell then says, It's fine, just don't do it again. I tend to lose my temper quickly. He turns and walks off. But Eyes has one more thing to say. Thank you for saving us. Bell gives no reaction and keeps walking. Alright, time to skip to Hestia's familiar. That means like the household. Bell opens... I made a mistake on saying it was the... I meant to say the household. That's where, the familiar stay at. But anywho, Bell opens the door and sees that the living room is vacant. He pays this no mind and proceeds to his room. He walks over and looks at the name that was placed upon him. He rips it off and opens the door. He now has about 300,000 Valis. He sets 3 bags down by his bed and opens his inventory. He grabs one of the A-list keys he got from leveling rewards and says, Okay, let's go. Like, he knows what the keys are for now, Experimenting in the dungeons past those 10 floors. Anyways, like with his own, he's experimenting with his own things. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, once he says this, a keyhole appears in front of him. He was about to open the gate until Hestia barges in. As soon as she came in, the key and the hole instantly disappears. He gives no reaction and looks at Hestia with a blank look. She says, Where have you been? She ate the words that was about to spill out of her mouth when she saw 3 bags filled with Valis. She says, How did you get all this? I did as you instructed. I went out to the dungeon and got us some Valis. And I think you might like the fact that I cleared 10 floors. 10 floors? By yourself? Bell nods. No way. You had to have gotten someone's help, or you just leached off of other adventurers or something. Sorry. You can check my level again. The proof is all there. Fine, but you better not be wasting my time or you're out. At that, Bell shrugs and takes off his shirt. Hestia starts to blush as she sees a perfectly defined body tone on Bell. And she just realized his hair is black. And in one eye, it's gray, but the other is still red. He looks like a whole new person in his new attire as well. He's wearing a black long sleeve button up with black fingerless gloves. He's wearing black pants and black dress shoes. He has a black long draped trench coat, and he had 2 piercings in the left ear and 1 on the right earlobe. Now, Bell lays on his front and Hestia mounts him. She starts the ritual and she is shocked at his results already. Level 43? How did you progress this much and so quickly? It's all because of my drive to become strong. I know you see my special skill, Courage of the Weak. I gained that skill when I almost died. Yet you two claim you saved me. That's not possible. There isn't a skill that exists that's like this one. You can call it my personal skill. Now get off me. Wait a second. I need to print this. Fine, hurry up. She places the paper onto his back and begins printing. A few seconds pass and she finishes. They both get up and sit beside each other. Here, you go. Bell takes the paper and places it beside him. Turns to Hestia and says, So, am I still the worst one, or can I be a higher up now? Well, of course. Thank you, goddess. I realize you acted like a demon princess towards me because I was weak, right? Oh, sorry about that. It's hard being the worst familiar, you know? It took a toll on me. It's fine, but I promise you, I'll put our familiar's name on the map, and I'll start by showing off a little. There's this new game that the gods are planning. I know, Belle, I'm a god too, remember? Right. Anyway, I assume you want to join the new raiding games between familia. That's right. If we win, people will be lining up to join us. Sounds like a good plan. Good. Now that we have that situated, what was it you needed me for? Oh, sorry about that too. I was just coming in here to pester you. Is that so? Suddenly, Belle gently grabs Hestia's chin and faces her towards him. Her whole face starts to turn red, and she mumbles, Hey, what are you doing? I don't know, but it feels right. He then begins to make out with Hestia. They both get very into it too. Hestia lays Belle down and proceeds to mount him. She then kisses him once more. Switching POV. Oh man, that was one hell of a workout. I wonder what my goddess is up to. Suddenly, Tyson faintly hears Hestia call out Belle's name. He grits his teeth and says, That bitch! He races over to Belle's room, and swings it open. Hestia gets startled and gets off of Belle. He sits up to see a furious Tyson looking dead at him. Suddenly, he gets a warning. Extreme levels of bloodlust is being sent towards you. A quest will pop up now. Suddenly, a quest appears in the box. In the quest box, it reads, Killer be killed. Targets remaining 1. Failed to complete and your punishment is death. Without hesitation, Belle pulls out his dagger and stands. Tyson looks at Belle with caution. He feels a high rise in dark energy coming from Belle. He pulls out his sword and yells, I'll kill you, bastard! Tyson rushes, but only for him. So, sorry, gosh, I'm so tired. Tyson rushes, but only for him to have his arm sliced off. And then once he stumbles behind Belle, he cuts his head clean off. Blood starts to spill all over the room. Hestia looks in shock and little fear. She never expected Tyson to die so soon, and by the hands of another member nonetheless. What scares her is Belle's calm and cold demeanor. He lets the blood spill on him, He's looking up as if rain is pouring on him. She calls, Belle, Belle. What is it, Hestia? You're all soaked in blood. You want to take a shower? Yeah. Where's your bathroom? Down the hall when you leave the room. Belle nods. He then proceeds to crouch down to Tyson's remains. Sorry, I messed something up. Sorry, Belle nods. He then proceeds to crouch down to Tyson's remains. Hey, what are you? Suddenly, black fog starts to surround his hand, and he waves it around the remains. The fog enters the body parts, and they burst into black smoke. He then gets up and grabs his clothes. He walks past Hestia and says, after I'm gonna go to sleep. We'll talk more about the reading games tomorrow. Okay. He then proceeds to the bathroom. Well, what he just did right now, with the black smoke coming from his hand is called deep touch. Yeah, that's the skill, deep touch. It's basically a skill where the darkness coming from its hands can enter a person and just explode. They just explode. Like, that's what he used the first time when he threw the projectiles, but he put a little hint of the deep touch skill and combined them. That's why the Minotaur started to blow up. His body started to bloat and blow up. But anywho, the next day, he wakes up and gets dressed. He does his daily quest and receives his reward. Reward times 2, 40,000 coins. Wait, as you level up, your levels. No, as you level up, your rewards get greater. 40,000 coins, 2 A-list keys, 20 levels. Progress. Level 63. Job acquirable times 2. No. Well, yeah, there's basically a second job, but that's a whole nother thing. But anywho, fatigue, 13. Title, Grim Reaper. HP, 20,000. MP, 10,000. Skills. Shadow Projectile, level 5. Shadow Enhancement Cloak, level 3. Alright, so I'm gonna explain the skills now. Shadow Projectile 3, basically 3 shadow bullets, like medium or medium-sized shadow bullets. He can, since it's level 5, the amount of shadow bullets, bullets go up. The higher your level goes up. So say for instance, on level 10, probably like 6 shadow bullets is gonna shoot out of his hand at once. All right, so now that we got that out of the way, Shadow Enhancement Cloak is basically it boosts your stats by 10. So that's basically like a beginner skill, but he still uses it. Deadeye is basically sending out killer intent, but more powerful. Like, very, very powerful, and he maxed this out. Anyway, Shadow Possession. Basically, Shadow Possession. You can control him by controlling his shadow. So say for instance, Belle looks at a person and just his eyes suddenly glow purple. Then you start to feel hazy, your vision starts to get purple, then you're just instantly controlled. That's Shadow Possession. He's controlling your shadow. He's controlling you by controlling your shadow. It's basically, possessing your shadow. Shadow Possession. Alright, next one. Deep Touch, we already explained that. Force Push, basically Force Push. You know what Force Push is. Alright, I forgot to tell you all the levels. Shadow Possession is level 4, Deep Touch is level 2, Force Push is level 1, Shadow Protection is level 1. Shadow Protection, basically Shadow Teleportation. It'll be graphic once we read. Alright, Rage, level 1, that comes soon. That's very soon. Shadow Summoning, level 1. Yes, shadow summoning is basically he can summon shadows of himself. Yeah, summon shadows of himself or other people. Basically, like Sung Jin Woo. Basically, like a shadow monarch, but he's far greater than a shadow monarch. But anywho, yeah, he can summon shadows of himself or other people. So for now, he's only a level 1, so he can probably summon about 2 shadows. That's it. But anywho, level up and do special quests to gain more abilities. Stats: Strength 110, Agility 103, Senses 110, Vitals 105, and Intelligence 110. Power limiter 50% active. Remaining points remaining 0. Coins 50,000. Inventory: 5 B rank boxes, 1 A rank box. Dragon Fang 3-star, his dagger. 10 max health potions, 12 C rank keys, 5 B rank keys, 3 A-list keys, 1 Demon's Domain entry key. Level entry requirement 100. Now, sorry, let me see how much. Alright, that's 35 minutes. I'm gonna cut this one short because I want to get more what ifs out. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the first part 1 of Danmachi X Naruto solo. Or what if Bell had solo leveling? But like, share, subscribe my video. Like, share, subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.